Before we finish discussing variables, let's have a look at how we can use them in order to concatenate the string. I'm going to remove what we've got here. At the moment, let's create 3 new variables. Full name, this one will be Sebastian Soliński. Obviously use whatever you feel relevant. Year of birth, and that's going to be 1976, and then we have weight, say 2, and then we go for echo, and let's start with the paragraph, and then we're going to concatenate it with a full stop, obviously using a full stop. And now you can have spaces between the full stops or not, as you may remember in PHP, as long as it's not within the string, which would be wrapped within the double or single quotes, you can use spaces, tabs, and so on. It doesn't really matter. And now we are going to concatenate it with the full name, then another concatenation, so another full stop, and then we continue with our string, was born in, space again, and then let's concatenate it with the year of birth, and then we are going to concatenate it again within the double quotes, and his birth weight was, and then concatenating this with the weight variable. And after this, again, we're going to use double quotes, space kg for kilograms, and closing paragraph tag, and then semicolon after this. If we now save it and preview it in a browser, refresh it, you can see it gives us the full sentence, our variables, obviously the full name, then we have date, and then the weight variables are now concatenated with the other parts of this string. If we now go back to the editor again, as I said, we can use strings within a single quote. So let's try this as well. And if I now replace these double quotes with a single quote, it will work exactly the same way, except for one thing. And you can probably see it by now. You can see I've got this single quote here for this his part. And what I need to do when I'm using single quotes and then the occurrence of the same character, which is a single quote here, is within a string, I need to escape it with a backslash. So basically that tells the PHP, don't simply close this specific string, use this as a character within this string. Okay, so we continue replacing these double quotes with single ones, save it, and now if we preview everything in a browser, refresh the page, everything is the same way as before. Let's go back to the editor again, and now I'm going to reverse everything I've just done, put it in double quotes again. So let's just quickly reverse it all. Okay, now because we're using double quotes, with double quotes we actually can place variables directly within the string, so you don't have to be worried about concatenating them, putting things separately basically outside of the string. So we can use it like this. If I just remove all this, you'll see in just a second the whole thing together. And as you can see, the only double quotes are at the beginning and at the end of the string. And variables are simply within the, we can move this variable right to the beginning of the paragraph tag as well. With the string, actually, everything is in one string together. So if we now save it and preview everything in the browser, again, result is precisely the same. So going back to the editor, let's have a look at another example. And this example shows the way I prefer to do it. When I'm wrapping strings within the double quotes, which allows us to put variables directly within the string, I tend to wrap them within the curly braces. It doesn't do really anything, it's just outlining the variable in a little bit better way to me, basically. PHP knows that obviously this is only the wrapping element of the variable, so just to outline variables in a, make it a little bit clearer that it's a variable basically inside of the string, you can wrap them within the curly braces. And if we go back to the browser, you'll see that nothing changes, everything's still displaying exactly the same way as before. Now, as you can see, this string is quite a long one, and if our window was short like half of this, obviously that would simply soft wrap onto the new line. The better way of doing this is concatenating the string using new lines, basically. So what we can do now is wrap the paragraph as we had it originally, put the semicolon indicating this is the end of the statement, and then go for another echo statement. Obviously remove the curly brackets around the variable, semicolon, end of the statement, echo. Now wrap this was born, but obviously we need a space now between the variable and this string, and then space after in as well. Again, semicolon indicating the end of the string, the end of the statement, echo again. And if we now go here, remove this curly bracket again, end of the statement, echo, double quotes, space to make sure that it's not attached to the value associated with the variable. Again, space at the end after the was as well, semicolon to indicate the end of the line statement. Then wait, semicolon, and echo, lastly, space, kilograms, and the closing paragraph. So we've got now the full sentence. If we now save it and go back to the browser again, refresh, as you can see, nothing changes, even though obviously we put everything on a new line. But as you may remember, I've mentioned several times now, in PHP, new lines or spaces don't really matter as long as they are not within the string itself. So if we go back to the editor, that's one of the ways of doing this. What we could also do is to use the variable and then associate all this output with this variable. So we're gonna start concatenating this variable using the variable name output. There we go. And then we start with associating this starting paragraph string with this output variable. Next, what we're going to do is create another output, but this time, rather than using equal symbol, we're going to use full stop and equal. And what that does is basically concatenating the previous variable output with what's after this. So basically we're going to have this paragraph and then the full name concatenated in this second one. Next, we're going to create another one, output, and again, full stop and equal means take this previous output and concatenate it with whatever we are assigning to this variable now. And the same thing for the next line, concatenation, and again, and again, and last one. So as you can see, we start with the first one is just simple assignment, and then we concatenate assign the next line and all the following ones. So now if we echo this output variable, save the page and preview it in the browser, refresh the page, you can see output is still exactly the same as it was before. But now it gives us slightly more flexibility because we don't have to simply echo it. What we can do is to use this variable which stores this entire string and put it in the database. So we can pass it as the argument to one of the functions basically you might be creating. You can use it in many different places now, because when we echo obviously output directly into the browser, there's nothing more we can do with that, with the output basically. It's just output it to the browser, and that's basically all we can do with this. But when we associate it with the specific variable, now all this is stored within this variable, and we can do many things with this. We can pass it wherever we want basically. So now let's go through the summary of what we've discussed about variables. First of all, obviously variable name is used to get the associated value. So as we did with the echo here, obviously we used the variable and it did echo, did output the content of this specific variable. Variable name starts with a letter or underscore, right? So we started with in this case, we've got everything in lowercase. You can use obviously capital letter as well, output like this, still gonna work. It's fine, but you cannot start it with a number. That is invalid. So you can start as well, as I've mentioned, with the underscore and then output. That works as well, but never with the number. So we start with basically with the letter or underscore, and it can be followed by the number. So if I want to put number here after the first letter, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. The only thing you have to remember is you cannot start with the number basically after this dollar symbol. So we've got the variable which obviously uses letters and underscores to start with, followed by any number of letters, numbers, or underscores. And now the most common way to create variable name is to either use underscore to join separate words, like let's say I'm going to create one here, first underscore name, or this specific case is called snake case. or using the camel case, which is using the first word, all lowercase, and the following words, first letter of each following word with the capital, in capital basically. So that's pretty much everything about variables. We'll continue using them throughout the rest of this course because, as I've mentioned earlier, obviously, they are one of the most basic and important elements of any programming language.